And let's discuss him a little bit more. Harry Redknapp was in the Spurs dugout that night in Ireland, and he actually gave Kane his debut back in August 2011. He is joining us now this morning. Harry, good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
Good morning,
how are
guys.
you?
How are you?
We're brilliant, Harry. Listen, I was just saying, that record will mean so much to him, but I've been actually quoting you all morning, mate, because I remember speaking to you on numerous occasions. Tell us a little bit about Jimmy Greaves.
Jimmy was a genius, Ali. I mean, oh my God. What was Jim like? When he had the ball, it was like watching, I would compare him like with Lionel Messi. When he ran with the ball was tied to his bootlaces. He just had it under such close control, and he could just go off and go past two or three people. But he was an incredible finisher. When he got the chances came, he would just side foot them home. There was never, I don't remember him smashing too many in the back of the net. But he would make out to shoot. A defender would come sliding in. Jimmy would pull the ball back. The keeper would come out and dive. Jimmy would pull it onto the other foot and just roll it in the back of the goal. And he'd walk away as though, oh, well, that's what I'm supposed to do. And off he went. But
Harry, it's amazing, mate. It's amazing. And you touched on it there, because I love watching goal scorers. I adore watching goal scorers. And I watch all the old footage of Jimmy. And I don't think I ever see him putting his foot through the ball. Everything was a pass into the net.
Just pass it to the goal. He made the game look so easy. Again, even as a young player, Ali, I think he scored 5 goals when he was 17, didn't he, for Chelsea? In a league game. He was doing it from a very, very early, and he was such a great guy, so down to earth, such an ordinary one of the boys. Just, you'd have loved him. He was a special guy.
Harry, he could break the record in the next game. It's Preston away. And the one after that's at home against Manchester City. Is that what an amazing thing that would be to do it in your stadium, actually there in front of the fans and everything. And then obviously he's after Shearer's record as well. And you kind of think he could just do it all, couldn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, he's just been incredible, hasn't he? It's just how well he's done. And, as you say, looking back to when he had his debut that night against Shamrock Rovers, he went out on loan, lots and lots of clubs. And I'm sure I told you before, but, it was funny going to a dinner with Barry Hearn. And, Barry said, I loaned him 3 players. He said, the one who I thought definitely wouldn't make it would be Harry Kane. I thought he'll never play.
This was from Leighton, right?
Leighton Orient. But he'll never play for Tottenham,
Amazing. Harry, I know you're a football man, so you know better than everybody, really, what happens in the world of football and the way that everything works. But yesterday, I know this is probably a bit more emotional for you. Everton sacked Frank Lampard, 357 days in the job, in your family. What was your reaction to it?
Well, I must admit, I sort of had a strong feeling it was coming, and it's been a difficult job for Frank to take. But I think, Laura, you only have to look at the managers that they've had. I mean, they're not exactly second rate, are they? You're going from Angelotti and all the way Angelotti, Silva, who's doing Marco Silva, doing an amazing job at Fulham. Ronald Koeman, Martinez, Sam Allardyce was there. Rafa Benitez. It's been incredible. No one can make it work there, and I think the biggest problem is obviously been the recruitment. They've got players on big wages. I know for a fact, they've got players earning nearly £100,000 a week, who are never ever, they can't move because their wages are so high. And they're not top Premier League players, basically, but they've been given these contracts. So there's no movement in getting people out to bring people in. It's just whoever takes that job, I don't care who they give it to. I think it's unless there's massive changes at the club, and it looks an impossible job to me.
It's amazing that, Harry, because I 100% agree with you. And we're talking to Big Sam earlier, and I think one of the biggest problems, I did say recruitment. I mean, because he's certainly put his money where his mouth, and he's given money to spend. It hasn't looked as though it's been spent that well. However, looking at Everton right now, when I say the vast majority, I think nearly every Everton supporter that's been on has appreciated Frank and his efforts. But looking at it now, I think the difference from last year, Harry, and one of the big problems they've got is the disconnect that seems between the board, the top level, the owner, and the supporters, and indeed the team.
Yeah, for sure. There's not a good feeling around the place, and once you get that, becomes very, very difficult. But as you say, looking at the recruitment, you look at the squad. He's got Calvert-Lewin, who's been injured most of the season, come back probably nowhere near 100% fit still, and he's got no options. How do you have? He's got Mopo, who they took from Brighton, who's found it a struggle. Other than that, he's got no front men. You have to have.
Yeah.
Without goal scorers, you're not going to win games, and that's been a massive problem. It's a badly balanced squad. But there's a big, and I think the players that have been brought in, I think that they deal with certain agents, and they seem to bring the players in, and they've not brought good. The signings have been poor.
Harry, what would you suggest Frank does next? Does he just need a break, a little bit of time out?
Yeah, it's difficult, Laura. He absolutely loves it. He doesn't have to work, to be honest with you. He's a wealthy boy. He looked like he's invested his money well, whatever. He loves it. He just loves football. And that's how he was as a player. He got to the very, very top. He was the best trainer I'd ever seen. He was so dedicated. And he wants to be a top manager. Boys like him and Stevie Gerrard now suddenly, Gerrard's lost. They're young guys who have got so much to offer. And everybody gets the sack. I don't care. You go through that list. They've all been, Marco Silva's gone to Fulham. What a job he's doing. But he lost his job somewhere. And everybody's had the sack, more or less. Almost everybody's had the sack at some time. Hopefully he won't lose that desire to go and manage. He might have to lower his sights a little bit and come back strong somewhere else again. But you've got to make sure it's the right club. The most important thing is, people always say, it's not choosing the club, it's choosing the chairman that you work for and the people you work for. Go somewhere where you've got a chance of succeeding and give it another go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Cheers, Harry.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great day,
Have a great day.
Thank you to Harry Redknapp there on talkSPORT Breakfast.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.